All right, perfect.
And we're back.
Are we echoing right now?
Nope, not that I can tell.
I don't know what happened, but we got shut down hard and fast here, folks. We're just waiting for Sandy to come back on. I've switched to a mobile device. Shiloh is still hiding in his closet, though. Sorry, I've been waiting on that one. Oh, boy.
That's funny. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. I can't remember a night that we've had this much problems. So this many problems.
yeah, and all my stuff's updated. It was kind of weird. Everything just kind of shut down there. So
Yep.
hopefully Sandy will be coming back on because there's lots of questions to ask.
Yep. We'll give her a second here.
Yeah, finding earbuds. I was running through the house. Where are my buds at? Because I refuse to use the Bluetooth ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you there. So, all right.
Oh,
Looks like we're back up on everything here.
are we?
Appears on QX and everything. So, you bet.
I just hope.
You can reach back out to her, can't you?
Yeah, well, she was getting her phone. She popped back on while I was grabbing my stuff. So,
Yeah.
yes. So, I'm going to do this here quick while we're waiting. Well, fun.
Well, we do apologize, folks. We did not expect that. We've been got kicked off. You know, you'd think with the election and stuff tonight, they'd have bigger fish to fry than us, Marvin.
Right? They don't want us talking about the North Dakota GOP, apparently. It's scary.
Uh,
Oh,
is,
we.
is it the Rumble? Yeah, Rumbles. Did you get that?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
We do apologize, folks. This is we're trying to get everything up and going again, and Sandy will be joining us again. So
Next. Oh, we were just getting to good stuff.
yeah,
See, this is what happens when we don't stream to our personal pages, Shiloh. This is all your fault's idea.
it's my fault.
Yep, it's your
Yeah.
fault. Your name's first on the show. This is your fault, boss. I
Oh, I
just do.
see.
I just do tech support.
I see how that works. Did you get the Rumble up and going?
It's almost done.
Sarah says she can hear us. Awesome.
Holy cow!
On and they're frying the election. They're trying the election. Frank Social is crazy today. Yes. Thanks for bringing that up, Crystal. So we are, Mike Lindell is trying his wireless monitoring devices out in certain places for this election that's going on in certain states. And so I encourage you guys to go and get a Frank Social and or a Frank Speech account that's free. And on there, you can actually watch the elections live and you can watch the different states as they start turning in what appears to be election fraud. Um, so it's been quite the crazy ordeal. If you go to Frank's Social and get yourself a free account, you can watch the election live through any of the states so that you so choose. It's quite interesting, and there's going to be um, it's going to be quite interesting here and getting more interesting as the election next year comes about because they're going to have more uh, information on what's going on. So they're just building that app, and it's going to be quite the deal to see when they get it all up and going. So this is just a test run here. So I do encourage you guys to go on Frank's Social and get yourself a free account there, and you can watch all kinds of news that they got going on. So I know they've got quite a few different shows. Brennan House is on there quite a bit with Mike. But and speaking of Mike and My Pillow, if you guys are looking for Christmas gifts, Don't be afraid to use our promo code HTD. They've got all kinds of stuff from the towels to men's slippers, bedding, beds. They got pet beds. I mean, you name it. They're definitely expanding their lines. So if you use HTD, you can get up to 80% off. And this is their Thanksgiving Day specials. So and we certainly appreciate it. We get a kickback from every time you use our HTD code. So at any rate,
All right.
are we up?
Rumble should be up and going.
Okay. Did you reach out to Sandy again?
Yeah, I sent her a message across.
We are going to have Gavin Wentz on soon again, the president of the QX, and we've had him on shortly after I got back from Missouri. And so we're going to have him on as well and explain more of what that little box can do and the apps and different things that you can use on it. It's not just to watch TV. It's you're going to be able to do quite a few things as well. I mean, you can make your portals and make your own content to run in a store on there for your content or your small business or whatever kind of business you have. So if you go to qx.tv, so it'd be qux.tv, our customer code there is HTD as well. You can get $25 off the box. So we encourage you guys to go and look at that as well. And that website is qux.tv. And you can use our customer coupon HTD to get savings on that as well. So, well, Marvin?
Yep.
I suppose you can't call her because you're on your phone.
I don't have her number.
Okay.
No, it's fine. We'll just give it a second and let her get resituated because she did pop back on with the new link. So
Yeah.
I had sent it again through Messenger. You know, while we're waiting, Sarah got me with a horrible joke the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got done with church. We're driving to Costco and she goes, somebody called you an owl today. And I looked at her and I go, who? And I stopped. And I looked at her and she laughed probably from the Menards stoplight in Bismarck all the way up to Costco because she was just happy as a peach that she got me on a joke. So, some of the stuff while we're waiting here, folks, we still need to know who's running for office. If you are debating running, if you need help, if you need support, if you want to talk about it, I mean, it's kind of a big, scary thing, but we got, 5 months till the primary here. For the endorsing convention, we got June, 7 months until our primary election. We have 2 or 3 different ballot petitions here that they're working on getting signatures for. The property tax initiative, the election integrity initiative, and then there's through the Secretary of State one, I've seen the age limit for elected representatives, but I don't know much about that one. We should probably get a hold of Jared or one of the sponsors on that to see what that's all about and how that's going too. But again, when it comes to people collecting signatures, it's not whether or not you're going to vote for it right now. You're giving everybody the opportunity to vote. This last week, we had another organization that is come out against the property tax initiative. North Dakota United joined with the North Dakota League of Cities and with the North Dakota League of Counties saying how horrible this property tax initiative is, yada, 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 yada. Interesting side note is I'm working on a legislative scorecard. I know I told you I wasn't going to do that a couple weeks ago, Shiloh, but I've started compiling literally every scorecard that I can find around the state. So I got North Dakota Right to Life done. I have North Dakota Advocacy Group done. Family Alliance, there we go. North Dakota Family Alliance done with the bills that they had sponsored. And today I was working on the North Dakota United, which is supposed to be representing the teachers groups. And it's very interesting because you look at the other ones, you know, it's conservative Republicans getting their 100%, yada, yada, yada on the other two. With North Dakota United, which represents the teachers groups, the only people getting 100% were Democrats.
Big surprise there.
So, and I haven't looked at the bills in detail that they have referenced, like I'm aware of them because I did go through all the bills, but I kind of want to have an across the board spreadsheet that people will be able to access through the website here. So I'm going to probably have a sampling of, I'd say 100 bills, and the overall scores that were rated by the organizations that they were attached to, so people can pull it up and actually look at it.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting with elections coming up too, because all the even number districts are up for election this year.
Mhm.
So
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting. You know, and back to Marvin's point too, if you are running, we'd definitely like to hear from you, no matter where you're at. I mean, we're all adults here. We can sit and have a conversation, and you know, this is what we have made this show into, is getting the information out there. We can agree to disagree on things, but we would definitely like to have you on if you are thinking about running for office. And I encourage you to, because here's the deal.
Oh God, here we go.
Here's the deal. We need more people to step up. We do. I mean, I don't think that a lot of people realize just what kind of dire straits we're in, meaning with this election coming up. I mean, we've got a whole lot to lose, and I hope that people can take that seriously and think about running, because we need some help. We really do. The uniparty that we got going on now, it's not working for us. I mean, and as these legislative ratings come out that you're working on and different things, and there's already been other ones too as well, Marvin, that are out. I mean, you can see.
Well, and I'm just putting them all in one place, so it's not like we're going outside the box here on this one. But yeah, I mean, this is so you guys have them all in one location.
Yeah.
So, and it's a thing. Go ahead.
She just emailed and said, "Are we still on?" So send her the through our email. So
perfect. Let me refresh here.
Yeah. Oh, we're sorry, folks. This is what happens when we get censored. So we're gonna have to come up with a different plan here the next time. So, but at any rate, as you can see from their voting record, we don't really have any Republicans anymore. We have the Uniparty, and the Democrats have infiltrated our Republican Party. Hence is why we couldn't get some of the stuff changed, is like the price to speak at the convention and different things. So
okay, I got it responded. I'll give her a second here. I
Okay.
don't even know how you're seeing me right now because I'm working on like 3 different devices trying to get us back up and running.
We're not. So anyway, now you're rubbing your forehead like you have a headache.
You are a headache.
So
Oh, boy. I'm sure Angel won't disagree with me about that either.
yeah, she's on the road right now. So
Ugh. She got going awful late today.
yeah. But
Speaking of which, I need to text her. We found one of Josiah's socks he left last time you guys crashed.
cool. I'm sure our viewers are happy with our announcements here.
Hey, man, this is life. Like, you got to remember, we're not all doom and gloom, folks. I'm not.
Right.
I would much rather spend an evening laughing.
That's a
Much,
fact.
much rather spend an evening laughing.
If you guys got questions too, I don't know who's on what as far as how you guys are watching, but please send them in. We've got some comments from Facebook I can see, but if you've got comments, please send them in. I'm watching it here on my phone and trying to respond to. Oh, there she is.
Perfect.
Are you gonna put her? I'll let you put her on.
I can't put it on. I'm not in studio.
Okay, there we go.
Hi.
And you're back. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Are we on?
We're on.
we're on.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fun. No,
This is an
Perfect.
interesting evening. We haven't been kicked off like this before. We've had people, comment rude things and different things like that, but we've never actually been kicked off while we're in midstream. So that's been something new. So thank you for bearing with us and working through these technical difficulties. So
Okay, so I think where we were at 20 minutes ago, we were talking about
Yeah.
the statewide races.
Yeah.
You had talked about this district meeting that had the all district meeting that had happened on October 13th here.
that's right.
And it come to a vote for trying to eliminate some of these bylaws. I know one of the big ones for a lot of people when it comes to statewide races are I'm moving away from my computer. I'm pretty sure it's mad at me. The statewide races like $5,000 for governor or $2,500 for statewide offices, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then I know another concern that folks had brought up was the quote unquote Tuttle rule, where if somebody runs as an independent, they can't run as a Republican for 6 years. And I know that's kind of been hot buttons for a lot of people because you look at what's going on with Rick because he ran against John Hoeven for Senate as an independent. Like, people are wondering if he'll be able to run as a Republican again anytime soon. And so I know I had questions about that.
Sure.
Or people ask me to ask you about that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not getting that kind of feedback. I mean, I would have to ask the state committee and some of the chairs, and of course, like we talked a little bit earlier, there's many factions under, the Republican tent, but you've got the two kind of, the far right and the far left, kind of the fringe groups. And I'm not hearing that much, but a few people are asking about it. Like I said, October 13th, there was some work to be done and it didn't pass. There was some great discussion but it's still on the table. I mean, it's still worth discussion. I did receive, there was somebody who reached out to me that wants me to see some additional information in regards to those fees that were implemented. Cause I don't know how long they've been there. That's what I wanted to know is how long have those fees been in place and, the implementation of them, because somebody had visited with me just briefly and said they really weren't sure if they were even constitutional. So that's where we're at. And that's where I'm at in the office, is just wanting to know more historically. But, ultimately, the state committee and those district chairs, you know, I'm there calling balls and strikes, and they're there doing the work. And what I saw on October 13th was good work. There was a lot of great discussion, and you know, there was disagreements, but it was civil, and you know, it just did not pass by majority. So
Yeah.
that's what, yeah, both of those issues, the fee, and I wonder if it wasn't, I don't know if it was, it may have been in the same resolution, actually, you know, the language,
Yeah.
to change the language, right? Mm-hmm.
Another one that I had brought up, and you kind of touched on a little bit earlier. I know you said you're not there to babysit the districts, which I get. It's not your job. But something that I know that came up in a couple districts this last year for like the endorsing conventions and stuff was voting by proxy.
Okay.
District 25 had, I believe it was 60 to 70 proxy votes that were cast when it came to choosing their representatives. And
Wow.
yeah, like I
yeah.
got video of one lady standing there literally turning in fees and proxy votes at the meeting. And like
Wow.
that's alarming to me and concerning, because how do you get candidates fairly endorsed if the people that are doing the endorsing can't show up for the meetings?
Oh, absolutely. That's the first I'm hearing about this. And so like right now in the position, Marvin, I'm going around and almost, it's like a listening tour. This
Yep.
is,
Mhm.
I'm kicking it off tonight with you guys.
Yep.
Not really. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now, is listening.
Yeah.
And so even to your point where somebody gave you, asked you to ask me a question,
Yep.
I need people to reach out to me. I need to talk to people. I need to know, because a lot of this information is not fully disclosed. So I don't know what I'm dealing with unless I know. So that's incredible. I really just want to follow the rules that we have, and I want to be respectful to everybody. And but it has to be fair, and it has to. I mean, yeah. I mean, it can't be unethical. And so those are issues that I have not. I mean, of course, I have not experienced yet, and I mean, it's certainly something that I would need to visit with the executive committee. How are we going to navigate something like this? I feel that my executive committee is, people are on the right side of issues, and I feel like I have, people that want to work together, and so based on that, we can have some really tough discussions and get through and kind of navigate. So, but it's certainly something that I'll have to bring up.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to Johnny on the spot you. It's just
Yeah.
it's there's been so much that's happened over the last 3 years, 4 years. I mean, that being new to this position, I mean, you got to hit the ground running, and I don't think there's enough time to sleep some days. And so, like, when I get questions like this or I see stuff like this, like, it's things that I've been made aware of because people were concerned, and things that you should be aware of. And that, I mean, just saying that if people have questions to reach out to you, I mean, that's a step forward considering how things were reacted with the last chair that we had. And
you
like
asked
them
me-
or hate them. So
Yeah, well, you asked me why I ran, and I don't believe in the top-down leadership. I believe in that bottom-up, and so these are things that I need to. If there's concerns in a district and with the district chair and with how they're running some of their district meetings, that's an opportunity for me to sit down with that district chair and kind of internally work these things out. I certainly don't want to embarrass anybody, but at the same time, you want everything done properly. And
Yep.
I certainly don't want to be part of somebody who's not doing, good operations and I mean, ethical. I want everything to be ethical and on the up and up.
Yep. Shiloh, I thought you had a question earlier that you were going to ask Sandy about while we were frantically trying to get back on air.
Yeah,
Next 5 months. I mean, we're looking at endorsing convention, what, end of March, beginning of April here?
Yeah, right.
We,
Presidential caucus. We have a presidential caucus coming up March 4th. I mean, that hasn't been done in a few years, many years actually.
well, and so far we've gotten, Governor Burgum's put in his money, Nikki Haley and Donald Trump have all put in, correct? Has there been anything else in the last week?
No, but there's, we're kind of waiting for DeSantis, and Reynolds just came out and endorsed him last night. I was thinking he may be kind of backing out and starting to peel off because, you've heard, in fact, we're, looking for a new ED at headquarters. And I did receive an application from a DeSantis, campaign staffer. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But I think we'll see DeSantis, if he sticks in the race. I think we'll see him complete what he needs to, the requirements in order to get on that ballot. Maybe we'll see Scott. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Christie. We'll see.
It should be interesting.
For others. Yep.
I know another line of conversation that we've had, Shiloh and I, and we've talked about on the show, and we kind of put a couple guests on the spot, is like rumors for governor. I've heard like 6 or 7 different names. I think people want to know. And I know you can't answer that, but I know it's
I just don't know. Yeah. It's forecasting, and it's, like, what's the North Dakota weather going to be like in 6 months? Well, good luck with that. Didn't do grandpa very, we're going to have we're going to have some good candidates, and I just know there's good people that will step forward, and we'll have to see what happens with Governor Burgum and this run for presidency, and just give him this time, because the longer he's out there, it does promote North Dakota. I mean, there's great things when he's campaigning. It highlights everything great about the state of North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just like the governor's race, because we have DPI is going to be this year, state treasurer is going to be this year. What's the other? Is it tax commissioner or is it insurance commissioner? Godfried is this year.
Godfried, yep. Trying to think who else. We have Kramer.
Yep, we have Kramer. Yep. We have Kelly.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of big statewide races this year, and it's always like that during a presidential year. Right. And on top of that, you got 26 districts up. Is that what's going?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know what? I feel good going into 2024. I'd feel a lot better, I think our headquarters right now, we've got a great staff person in there, and she's just running and working really well with the RNC right now. We just got done what's called a GROW application. And so, she's doing her job, and we're getting communications out, and I'm working. I'm actually going to move, and we're pushing out to kind of do a listening tour, and I'm working with the regional chairs on that. We'd like to get that done by the end of the year. So yeah, I mean, everything's moving in the right direction. We're working on state convention. I've got a great group in Fargo that's planning that. That's April 4th through the 6th. You'd mentioned that earlier. We're just hoping that North Dakotans and North Dakota Republicans show up and just play their part as Republicans.
Yeah, and I'd personally like to see that. Like, we spend more time hanging each other out to dry than we do actually listening to each other, and it stinks. And then if somebody's mad at somebody, they go running to a news reporter because they didn't get their way.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens. I gotta tell you, it's par for the course, and it's the way it is. And the climate is harsh. I knew this wasn't going to be easy. I didn't jump in because I thought it was going to be, and I certainly didn't think that I was going to have a courtesy. So I was not naive. And the people that I consulted with before I did this, and including my family, we knew that this was going to be, maybe we underestimated some of the players, but we certainly knew that it was going to happen. And a lot of the stuff that comes at me, it doesn't move me because I know it's true and I know it's not. And I know that the GOP right now is positioned in a good place. And I, I'm going to support the Republicans and the party and make sure that we get, those, the Republicans that want to stay in, we're going to support them, and, the endorsements, we're going to support them. So we're going to just continue to do good work day by day, but it is a day by day deal right now.
Yeah. You can't just put it in autopilot and coast.
That's true.
I'm curious to know what your outlook for the convention is, because the last convention, and this is just coming from a guy who it was my first time going. And so, and there was a lot of new people. I mean, our district, I was District 2. We had 92 delegates there. And I know there was a lot of fresh faces there. I think it was one of the bigger ones, if not the biggest convention, if I'm not mistaken there. I'm just wondering what your big picture of this year's coming convention is going to be.
Well, I was at that convention that you were at, and I understand, so it was your first convention, and you're talking about the discord that we all felt, and that's just really, it was an unfortunate situation. I mean, I know my husband and we left the Civic Center here in Bismarck, and boy, I tell you what, there was just a lot of noise, and I wasn't entirely sure who was really speaking truly on my behalf that night, because there was a lot of moving parts, right? Or that whole day. But I will tell you, you can't control human reactions to certain things. But, I think the environment itself, I think people are, I hope they're excited, and I hope the people that show up in Fargo, and this will be at NDSU at the Shack, I hope people are excited and want to partake and want to be part of a great process. We're going to have things. I have a great chair in Carrie McLeod over in Fargo, and she's got a great team. And I just really hope that we have the tools in place in order for things to go smooth. And I think sometimes what happens is, and I look back at the Bismarck Convention, I think there was a lot of time in between, some of even the votes. It just gave people a lot of time to sit back in their chair and kind of maybe think too much about things that are happening, and people are getting angry. I mean, we're going to have things. I hope I see the tools that move things along a little quicker, and I think people will be more content. But you really can't tell people how to react. So if people are fussy at that moment, I mean, we can just manage the best we can. But we're hoping people show up with a much better attitude, and just want to take part in the processes.
Well, and one thing with that convention, like I had announced late on my Secretary of State run, but I had people telling me like that Saturday, be ready to talk, because if the chair gets replaced, they're going to open it up for other candidates. I'm like, this is not how I want to get known as a candidate, is getting ushered up onto the stage to give a presentation as to why I should be Secretary of State. Like, for us, we were there as guests. I was just there to get my signatures so that I could get on the ballot the good old fashioned way.
Sure.
And so, like, I know that was like part of the whole debate there was replacing the chair and coming down to a vote between Perry and Gary Emineth for the rest of the convention.
Sure.
And I had people telling me, like, leading up to that part of it, to be ready to talk, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk today.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But it's like, I think that's where I differ from a lot of people. Like, I know I came into the race late. I knew what I was up against. I knew what I was dealing with, and I wasn't expecting to or demanding my place on the stage. But I did see like the state party fees, like the $2,500 for a statewide race to speak fees, like as a grassroots candidate, those numbers are daunting, you know, because I did the math. If I would have gotten a table and if I would have gotten my booth space and everything, it was almost $5,000 I would have had to spend just for state convention. And that's a lot of fuel and advertising for getting around the state.
Right.
And for me, like cost wise, it wasn't a good spend.
Sure.
And to be allowed onto the stage when I hadn't paid those dues, those fees, like that's kind of where even if the nominations from the floor would have happened, I don't think I would have felt right about taking the stage because it wasn't following the party bylaws.
Okay.
So I know it's a weird ramble and rant, but from somebody that was a grassroots candidate that literally started late from behind the ball, like that was stuff I saw from the outside looking in.
That's good to know. Good information for me to understand and know when that happened. So now, I'm getting, up to speed on the processes for a state convention. And from what I understand, I mean, they can vote in a chairman of the convention. And it happens all over the country where people take the opportunity and the chairperson kind of steps aside. They still partake and they still have ran their state committee meeting the day before. So by no means is it disrespectful to the chair of the NDGOP, but it really gives somebody else an opportunity to kind of jump in and run the convention piece of it. And I think it can be great. In the case of what happened in Bismarck, I mean, I remember not quite sure what was going on and just kind of watching the processes. But from your standpoint as a candidate, I can see exactly where that fee, like you said, is daunting. And it's, what do you do? You're a grassroots, you come in late. I don't know what the fee is is it 2,500? I can't remember.
2,500 is what I would have had to have on.
Yeah. And that's just to speak. That's just to be able to have, okay. So yeah, that's, I understand, I'm just even now just listening to you. So I'm thankful that you shared that with me.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, and I guess this is what I hope for the upcoming convention.
Okay.
That it is fair. Yeah. Because I don't feel that last year's was fair. I was the guy who tried to call the point of order on Senator Kramer, which I would have probably done a whole lot different. It was kind of a knee-jerk reaction, and people who know me were kind of surprised and said, I've never seen you act like that before. And it was, I don't know, it was just something that happened. But I hope that it's fair, and I hope it doesn't get stopped halfway through it just so busloads of people can stop or get off the bus, come in and vote, and then leave again. So I'm just hoping that everybody gets a fair share.
Credentialing is done. And yeah, I mean, this takes, the chair of this state convention and everybody's aware of what happened in Bismarck. And so, there's, everyone, the work group, and then the reporting to me, they are ensuring that the conflicts that we saw in Bismarck at state convention are not going to happen in Fargo in 2024. Everything, but that started right at the registration table. That happens, with some of the credentialing. And so that has to be just tight and it's done and it's tight and it's over. And so you're clear there. But you are not going to see a busload of anything coming in to the state convention in 2024 in the middle of the day. We're not going to see anything like that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm just going to promise you that. Unless it's a busload of, if we bring some entertainment in or something for lunch, or I don't know. Can we get a country singer to come in, or I don't know, who can come in on a bus, but that's about what you're going to get.
Yeah. And that's reassuring.
Yeah.
The last thing, and you don't need to answer this right now. The last thing that I had people reach out to me is the whole Ray situation. what's the GOP's direction moving forward on that stance? Because I mean that's crippling, and not just North Dakota wise. I mean that's probably going to have national ripple effects as it goes on.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Yeah.
sorry for the hard question, and like I said, you're probably not ready to answer that, but it is one that I've been asked multiple times over the last couple weeks. Like,
Wow.
what do you think the blowout is going to be on this?
So I just texted my son just now, and I don't mean to make light of your question, but I don't know if you can hear him up here. He's yelling. So, okay.
No, that's fine.
He thinks I'm just talking to, I don't know, a meeting. Okay. That is, my phone has been ringing off the hook since that hit.
Yeah.
It was Monday, October 30th. So all last week. And I'll tell you, last week, I really didn't, I did put a communication out to the state committee in regards to, it was probably a little bit more personal in regards to, how I feel about knowing this. But I haven't made a comment. I haven't made a comment. It's just so incredibly, it's too sensitive, and
a hard issue.
It's horrible. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I will say, we as Republicans, I mean, we believe in the rule of law, and we're gonna just allow the justice system to do their job, and we have to be prayerful about people that are affected, and victims and children. And I mean, this is if we're talking, if depending on how this comes out, I mean, this could mean,
It's a very
children.
serious thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of blowback.
There is a lot of blowback. And but what I want people to understand is this is not Republicans. This is, and this isn't something that, that me as a chairwoman, I mean, this is knowing this is, and if we've, this is not something that I believe, if we find somebody guilty of something like this, we don't just stand by it and just, okay, that's how it goes. I mean, this is not something that we believe in. It's in regards to Republicans just doing anything they want.
Yeah.
No, we believe in the rule of law. We believe in family values, and we believe in protecting children. And no, this is not gonna fly. And we're gonna have to take a strong stand on it. And there's consequences. There's consequences with this with bad behavior, and that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to the innocent until proven guilty, but anymore it seems like it's trial by social media, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's definitely interesting, and something I've been following for a long time just to see how everything would go. But I know, love them or hate them, Joel Heitkamp's had the Martinson brothers on like 5 times in the last week, or 5 different episodes in the last week, sitting and talking with them about these trips that our legislators are doing over to Germany.
Sure.
For this stuff too.
Yep.
And so it's been a wild couple weeks.
Yes.
I'll just say it that way.
Yes.
But I think it's something that as we come into this next legislative session, things like that, our newly elected legislators are going to need to address too, like our trips that present opportunities like this worth even the risk anymore for North Dakota.
Well, where's the ethics commission? Where is the ethics commission? I mean, where have they been? And what do they really do? I mean, I just don't even know. So, I mean, there's been so many things where there's been on taxpayers' backs, and this is just one that we're talking about, and horrific. But at the same time, I mean, where's the ethics commission? I mean, just let's make them do their job.
And that's interesting because it looks like they're already announcing for abbreviated notice of intent to amend administrative rules for the ethics commission they have it in the papers way out east already for 9 a.m. Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. Like, they dated it the 26th of October. So does that count as their one publication for the future? You know? Sorry, I kind of disappeared for that while I read it, but it's I found it interesting that we're announcing 2 months ahead of time instead of 2 weeks ahead of time, just so we can chalk that off our list of, hey, we notified people.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, because that
Yeah.
was in the Hillsborough newspaper is where that one got published. So,
Okay.
so I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that the ethics commission needs to address. I feel, but I guess
yeah.
we'll see how
Yeah.
things go moving forward.
Yep. I'd like to see them do their job, and I'd like it, across the board. Because I mean, there's a lot of issues in state government where I think that they could have played a role. I mean, that's what they're there for. But yep.
Go ahead,
One-
Shiloh.
One question I'd like to ask, I guess, is, you have had kind of a couple wild weeks, and with the executive director position as well. We had Dave
yeah.
on the day that he resigned, actually, and that it was a
Sure.
good interview. It was interesting. I know a lot of the emails that we were getting there's 2 questions, and
Okay.
that is what is the hiring process, and how do you vet these people, and why wasn't these comments caught, and then the other one was, gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
The vetting process and how he was vetted.
Vetting.
Yep.
Yep. And then,
Yep.
they wanted to know why we went out of the state of North Dakota to hire someone, to bring in an outsider like that. So that was the 2 questions.
Well, yeah,
For these-
I want good candidates. And I was open to the applications or the resumes, and he came, recommended from a few people, but how we found out about it, I don't necessarily know. He was just one of like many resumes that we looked at. And I wanted somebody, number one, to fulfill the job description. And that was incredibly important to me. And then, of course, he had the resume that fit the bill. The interviewing process was kind of systematic. Like, there was four processes. There was, do you hear that?
Someone's having fun.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
We have kids. We understand.
Yeah, I got a little girl bouncing
It's like
around on one of
somebody
those
needs
Johnny
to go
bouncers.
check to make sure he's okay up there. So there's 4 processes. We had a search committee that was made up. Second vice chair is Jennifer Benson, who she's on an organizational committee, and she put together a search committee. And with really what they did was they helped to vet the applications. And then from there, I had a one-on-one visit with that person before they went through an actual interview, and they went through 3 interviews total. So they had a search committee that vetted the applications. Then I had a conversation, which was number 2. Then they went through an interview, a 2-hour interview with the search group. They went through a second 2-hour interview, and then I was the last interview. So it was kind of many different processes. And we did our due diligence. We did do our due diligence. We did do a sweep of his social media, which I thought, I mean, here we are, we're in this day and age where you've got to go dig and scrub. It's called scrubbing. And so I looked at his social media. What I personally failed to do myself, and there was people that went through it, was we didn't dig into the reply section of it, because on its Twitter account, and I don't know if I'm not great on Twitter, but I didn't go into the replies, and I didn't catch, there's a few people that did this. I personally didn't know. I didn't know about it till that Friday, the 27th.
Yep.
That was the day, and I visited with him immediately when it came out. So it wasn't something that we knew and then proceeded forward. I think we went through a lot in the process. And yes, did we scrub and go into something as much as we should have? Obviously not. And I hired somebody who, it was a surprise for me to see, to see it really. I mean, I would be lying if I just thought it wasn't a total surprise. I mean, it was a surprise, So his resume was great. He's a nice gentleman, and he resigned, and that's how that went.
I kind of joked with Dave when we had him on. I'm like, where did you even find to apply to that? Because you go to like the GOP website, it's not listed. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it didn't pop up in the Indeed news feed.
Well, we didn't need, I'll tell you what, we didn't need to list it, because when my original executive director who worked for the former chair, when she resigned on September 19th, and September 20th, we went through her transition of leaving the office. She had kind of announced everything on her own, and to my dismay. And based on that, she brought a lot of attention to the NDGOP. And I wasn't expecting her to do that. It kind of caught me off guard. And so based on that, we didn't have to open it up. We started getting application or resumes from all over. In fact, even with Dave, I mean, I think we have 9 or 10 or 12, 9. We got 9 originally. I think we might have 10 or 11. So when these things happen, I mean, you would think that people would, run for the hills based on, knowing they're going to get scrubbed by, a blogger out in Fargo, North Dakota, but they're still applying for the job.
Yeah.
And so there's some great candidates out there. And so we're back to square one. Will we do things differently? Yes, we will. We will do things a little differently. We will be doing a lot more. It's called opposition research or investigation. It's going to require a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. Well, and it was a good interview, and I think we're gonna reach out and have a second one, because there's still a lot of questions out of South Dakota on him that I'd like him to answer. So
okay,
at any rate, but
yeah,
Sandy, I don't know you. I hope to get to meet you in person one day. I have a lot of respect for you, and I pray for you and your family, because the position you're in, you need it. And I just I pray for you, and I hope that I wish you the best, because I think you're going to have some hurdles, and I hope you have the team around you that can support you. And I just wish you well, and I'm going to be praying for you and your family.
Thank you very much. I receive all that, and thank you, and just know that I mean, what I want people, if we're jumping off here, what I want people to know is, if they can come to me with grievances, they can. I can have tough conversations, and I'm okay with people disagreeing with me.
Yep.
And I also am not a person who believes I know everything. And I'm still learning. I'm a person that is still learning every day. And so, I make mistakes, and I ask for forgiveness, even with people. I mean, I'm not above saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So that's how I think I can be better day to day, and do a good job. But I have to be humble, and I have to ask for help. And I've had to say that to a few people. You know what? I need you. I need your help right now. So I'm not above that. So thank you very much. I'll take your prayers, because I know I will receive everything. So thank you.
Well, thank you for being on. And we see, Luke Simons and I are actually the ones who started this, and then Marvin joined me here about 6 months ago. And when Marvin and I got together, our big picture here is to just get the news out there. I mean, we're not here. Yeah, we're going to ask probably some tough questions, but I guess that's kind of what people want. But we're not here to mudsling or throw anybody under the bus. So we appreciate you being on. I know it's not always a easy thing to do, especially when you don't know what's gonna come of it. So, but I do appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to sit down with people. In fact, when Marvin reached out to me, I thought he just wanted to visit and connect. And I didn't really know he had a podcast. So I'm really grateful to know this. And then a friend of mine from Wilson said, "You're on a podcast." And I said, "That's what Marvin's talking about then." Okay, I
Is
am.
that
Yeah, well, we
I just-
caught in passing, what was it, like 3-4 weeks ago, and you
Yeah.
had Ellie with, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this now, and it was a crazy day, and so I
we were
got
at
in
a
all the
church.
yep
We
yep
were at New Song Church.
yeah, we were at New
listening to
Song.
Riley Gaines.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I had reached out to Ellie, and I'm like, oh God, she's so busy right now. I'm sure she doesn't have a chance to look at it. So I had dropped you a line through Messenger. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
well, we're gonna go this route. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, the show and stuff, like I talk about it, but I don't think people always realize I'm talking about doing a live, here we are in the flesh show, instead
No.
of sitting down in a studio. And I like this format versus sitting down in a studio any day of the week, because it's nice, it's casual, and it's an honest
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, this is fun. This is easy, even with the echo and
Yeah.
my naughty boy up there.
Yeah.
my naughty kid.
Our
That's-
kids come in too, so we know
Yeah.
all about it. And that's the other thing too, is we're just two regular guys. We have a family as well, and they come in and out, and yep. So
yeah,
it's
the tour
part
we
of
just took through the house is because the Jenga is so high up that I'm the only one in the house that could reach it. My daughter
Oh
came
my
and
God.
asked me to get it.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys something. I think I said at the beginning, I'm just a mom. I'm
Yeah.
just a mom. And when I go around the state right now and talk to the districts, that's kind of how I started with, I'm just, you know what, I'm here today, but I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom that said, not today.
Yeah.
Not happening today, not to my kids and not to my family. So I'm really just a mom.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where Shiloh and I both started too, is we were just dads that weren't going to deal with it anymore.
Right.
And I think that's where we see a lot of our grassroots people now too, is, we told ourselves so long, oh, it's not going to happen here, and then all of a sudden it's happening here.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
oh, well, you have been fantastic. Can you stay on for a minute here? I think Shiloh and I are going to close up the show, and then we'll bring you back on. I had a couple more questions for you here.
Okay. Yep. Sure. Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Before you go, or before we move you off, like, I would love to have you on here in a couple months, more of a follow-up coming into convention, if we're okay
sure.
getting something set up, because that'd be cool. Get past the new year when we have a better idea who's running for what. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, that would be good. That'd be great. I'd be more than happy. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if you don't
I'll
mind
stay
hanging
right
out
here.
backstage, perfect.
Okay, sounds good. I'll stay put.
And there you have it, folks. That's North Dakota GOP Chair, Mrs. Sandy Sanford.
Yeah,
So,
and we'll do more with this, folks.
yeah.
Like, it's nice to have a chair that's actually willing to talk with us.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll have questions that come up over the next week. So if you guys have stuff, message Shiloh and I, or go to the webpage, contact us through the webpage, through our emails, stuff like that, and we can get together a list of questions moving forward for what we want to hear. Friday, I don't know if we have a guest lined up yet. Do we, Shiloh?
We're confirming, so we'll
Okay.
we'll make that announcement tomorrow.
Perfect. That sounds good.
So,
But
I have to say, I have some respect for her, because, well, she's never met me before, and to come on here like that, I mean, she answered some tough questions, especially there at the end, and I know in her position she probably gets criticized, and more than maybe she should, but I gained a lot of respect for her this evening. She did very well, and I think that wasn't rehearsed or anything like that, and it was just a good conversation between three people, and it was nice.
Yeah, and I do appreciate everybody hanging out while we dealt with technical difficulties tonight.
You bet.
We'll make sure that both parts of the show get linked up to the website too. So if you want to go watch it later, it's available for you.
You bet.
But yeah, thank you everybody again for all of your support. Shiloh and I appreciate it
You
because
bet.
it makes those hard days worth it.
Certainly does. So, well, until Friday, we will see you guys Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. With that, we will see you maybe.
All right, you push buttons.
I'm trying.
Y'all have a great night. God bless.